Welcome to Australia, welcome to Australian Book Travels, and welcome to this week's book recommendations. And I hope you've all been well since our last meeting, whether that was last Monday for our last book recommendations or Saturday for the travel video into Melbourne. Speaking of which, in Saturday's video, I took you to the Arts Precinct and I went to a Jane Austen music recital. And at the end of that video, I did let you know that there was to be another production in July. And I didn't have the paperwork handy at the time that I was taking the video for you. But I found it. And I want to let you know all about it because I intend going to this production. And if you're interested, I really do recommend it. If it's anything like the music recital, it's going to be fantastic. Now, this is the flyer for it. This is by Jane's hand. It is at the La Mama Courthouse Theatre in Carlton, Melbourne, from July 17th to July 28th this year, 2024. It is a whimsical window into the magnificent mind of Jane Austen, with text by Jane Austen sourced from her letters and Pride and Prejudice, interwoven with music from Austen's private collection. You can book early to avoid missing out. I'm going to do so. Now that I've found the paperwork, I'm definitely, hopefully sometime this week, I'll book my tickets. But I do recommend it. If it's anything like the music recital, you can't and shouldn't be disappointed. The music recital was fantastic. Even though it's a completely different production by a different company, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Even the flyer looks amazing, doesn't it? I mean, that looks fantastic. So I can't wait. Anyway, I just wanted to run that by you because I did promise you when I found the flyer that I would let you know. So I've done that. Okay, a couple of books today. Well, it looks to be more than a couple of books, but hopefully I'll make myself clear. This one is a series by Rebecca Shaw, who is English. She wrote these, I think, in the mid-90s. They're about a village, Turnham Malpas, and fictional. They're all fiction, all the series. It is the most beautiful, delightful series that you could read. It is essentially about Muriel, who is an older lady and loves her dog and has her dog in her cottage in Turnham Malpas. It's not entirely from her viewpoint, but you do hear a lot about her, and you're introduced to her right in the beginning of the series. And it's just about the shenanigans and the scandals and criminal activity and the beauty and the love within a village. Now, this series, I think it goes on for about 10 books. This is an omnibus. This is secondhand that I picked up some years ago. That begins with the new rector, then goes on Talk of the Village, and then Village Matters, and then it goes on to a whole series. Actually, I think I'll be able to give you the whole series in one of these. There is a whole list of the books. Bear with me. You know I'm always shocking at this. I should be a little bit better. I'm sure I saw the notification of all the books. Oh, maybe I haven't. That's weird. It's very strange indeed. I thought I saw a whole list of the books. Okay, Tales from Turnham Malpas. Here we go. The New Rector, Talk of the Village, Village Matters, The Village Show, Village Secrets, Scandal in the Village, Village Gossip, Trouble in the Village, Village Dilemma, Intrigue in the Village, Whispers in the Village, A Village Feud, The Village Green Affair, The Village Newcomers, and A Village Deception. Quite a few. And I really do recommend them. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I have a few of them here. Some of them are new, and some, I think this one and I think maybe this one, they're secondhand, but I bought them. They're really in lovely condition, so that wasn't a problem. But look, I recommend it. If you're looking for something that's gentle, although it has these bits of scandal and secrets and shenanigans that go on in the village, it's still, it really makes for a beautiful series and a beautiful read. Probably if you're just wanting to sit back and relax without any, having to work out any sort of crime or any sort of blood and gore or anything like that. It's just a beautiful tale, and it goes on, as you heard, for a number of books. I recommend them. So that's, I won't go through them all, but as I say, it does begin with Muriel, and throughout, actually, I'll just let you know, each book does have, Rebecca puts in a map of the village so that you know who lives where and where everything is located within the village, which makes for a nice, it makes for a nice read actually, because then you know where people are living and what they can see from their windows, because sometimes Rebecca may describe a situation where one of the villagers can see from their window to the green or to the church, and then you can, it helps you visualize it. So yeah, I do recommend these. I won't go through each of them because each book has its own shenanigans, and it is continuous. So they're not separate. You can read them separately, but they, if you really want to know the history of the village and the people and why they're doing what they're doing, it's probably best to start off with The New Rector. So yeah, they're a great read and I recommend them. That's them. Now, a couple of others here. Some of you may have heard, or particularly those overseas, you may not have heard, and if you're of a particular age, you may not have heard of Jimmy Barnes. Now, Jimmy Barnes was, he was born in Scotland, but he came over to Australia when he was about 5 or so. He had a bit of a hard life. His mother had about 5 children before she was 21. And I think he describes that he sort of grew up in a slum and a drunken sort of atmosphere. Jimmy has also had his demons to deal with, from what he says. He was a big drinker at one point and has for many years now been clean. But he was the singer, the lead singer, the front man for Cold Chisel. So if any of you know the band Cold Chisel, you'll know Jimmy Barnes. Now, I wasn't particularly taken with Cold Chisel. Not that I was ever taken with any particular band or any particular, contemporary band or contemporary singer. I liked music. I love my music, but I really grew up with more classical and Glenn Miller, the Glenn Miller Band. So that was more my style when I was much younger. But, and I enjoyed music, but I wasn't particularly taken with any one band or one singer. Sometimes I was only taken up with one song. So a few years ago, I was invited, it must have been about 10 years ago, I was invited by a family member to go and see a concert locally in Melbourne with Jimmy Barnes singing. And I wasn't particularly fussed, but that was really nice to be asked, so I went. And I have to say I'm a bit of a convert. I think Jimmy is lovely. In that concert, he was great. The music was fantastic. His singing was great. He was very down to earth, very raw, and a little bit sexy, if I might just say. So I was very impressed. So when he and his wife recently published this, it's Where the River Ends. Now this is by HarperCollins, and I think it was published last year, actually. Let me just have a look for you. I'm fairly sure I'm a little bit behind the times on this one. I'm really sure that, it's not saying, hang on. Bear with me. It doesn't say. I'm not being told when it was first published. What are you doing, HarperCollins? Why haven't you telling me? Hang on, it might be at the back. Let's have a look. Oh, it is. It's at the back. So they are telling me. Apologies, HarperCollins. First published in Australia in 2021. So I am a few years behind. I didn't realise. I was only really made aware of it last year. But anyway, that's okay. So he says here, actually, that he and his wife have been together for 40 years and raised a family, and unable to tour during the COVID pandemic, they launched a series of at-home online performances, which I actually watched on YouTube, and I think they had them on Facebook, on his Facebook page. But then they published this. Beforehand they published this, didn't they, in 2021? Oh no, that was during COVID, wasn't it? Gosh, the time flies. Oh my gosh. So they published this. Now this is really, I mean, it does have some little stories, but it really is a recipe book. I think they have some little story. Yeah, they write a few things in there of what they've done and so forth. But this is a lovely cookbook. Now, like all cookbooks, they do have meat recipes in them. But as a vegetarian, I often substitute those meats with either just vegetables or tempeh or tofu or some sort of soy product. So it's easy to do that. And, you know, if you find that you do that and it doesn't work, well, then you just don't do it next time. It's but look, I tend to buy any recipe book that I really like the look of, or I like the people, I like the writer, I like the chef, regardless of whether they have meat products in them. Because it's always, although I don't cook red meat for people, I will cook fish. So there's often fish dishes in the recipe book, but this one particularly I really like. I think it's the photos in it. Oh, that was a bit of meat. The photos in it are beautiful. They're crisp and clear and rather large. They're on each page, so they're not a tiny photo. Oh, it's their home. So yeah, look, I recommend it. I think it's a beautiful, some of the recipes in here look scrumptious. I haven't yet made anything from this recipe book. I have only just recently purchased it, but I recommend it because based on my experience from cooking and baking and sweet making, the recipes sound very sound and just really yummy, scrumptious and easy. So I'm recommending it because my experience tells me that this is, even though I haven't made anything from it, it's they're really lovely recipes. So that's Jimmy and Jane Barnes, and as I say, they do give you a couple of little, at the beginning I think of each chapter, they give you a little, just a little write-up there. So that's Jane and Jimmy Barnes' Where the River Bends, which I really like the title as well. And this is hardcover. Most cookbooks you'll find in Australia are hardcover, obviously for the longevity of the book. But that I recommend. Now, another one I recommend that I've had for a very long time is Risotto with Nettles, a memoir with food by Anna Del Conte, who is an Italian and went through the war as a young one and then moved, I think in the late 1940s, either 1949 or 1950, she moved to England. This is by Vintage and was published in 2010, so it is quite an old book. I recommend this one. It's really lovely. She tells you her life story and it's well written. It's sad in places, but it's well written, and just as important, I should say, she has recipes throughout the book. Now, there are no photos or drawings of the recipe outcomes, but here we go. There's some more recipes, but it is it's nice just to try the recipe and see what you think. Sometimes it can be intimidating in a recipe book when there are photos, because as a cook, you feel as though the outcome must look like that, and not always does it. I mean, the photos are often, they have, photographers as food specialists, and they're really set up, and the food's cold, but they set it up to make it look beautiful, and they take away all those burnt bits and all that sort of thing. So it's not a bad idea when you're cooking to not cook with a photo intimidating you. There's a photo of her, where she's lived and things like that, but there's no photos of, it's her engagement photo. But there's no photos of the food, so that's not a bad thing. Nigella Lawson here has said that Anna Del Conte is unutterably chic and to be relished. Anna Del Conte is a food journalist as well, so she knows her stuff. And some of the recipes here I have worked on, and they are beautiful. I've just opened up to a page. It's been a while since I've read this because it is a memoir. I've just opened up a page there. Fancy that. And it says here, Kitty, obviously a friend, in true upper-class fashion, taught me never to utter the words toilet, notepaper, serviette, or pardon, and introduced me to the works of Jane Austen, the Bronte sisters, and Nancy Mitford. So that's quite fitting, considering we've just been talking about Jane Austen. Anyway, I recommend it. It was a wonderful memoir, and it does have those wonderful recipes without the intimidating photos. So I recommend that. Okay, I will leave you now. I don't think there's anything I have to tell you, apart from I will see you next Monday, hopefully, next Monday for the next book recommendations, and Saturday for the next travel video. Hopefully you're watching both and enjoying both. If not, that's fine. It's just lovely. I'm hoping that having the two types of videos sort of gives you something, if you don't like books but you're into travel, or if you're not into travel and you're into books, then it's at least giving you something to watch. Something I must say too, I'm very appreciative of all of you who have subscribed and liking and commenting. It all goes towards helping me eventually take you further afield and to do more and more events. I'm looking forward to doing all of that with you over the coming months and years, hopefully. But I do want to thank you all for your time and for you watching this. It is appreciated, and it makes it all the more worth doing. So yes, so that's it. I've told you about Jane Austen. I'll just give you that again. I can't wait. I think this is going to be really interesting. By Jane's Hand, a production in July. If you're interested, I'd be booking tickets now. And Risotto with Nettles, a memoir with food by Anna Del Conte, was fantastic. It's a fantastic memoir, but I really do like the recipes in it as well. She also, what I like about this is Europeans and Italians particularly, and French, their food is very important. In fact, it's most European, even Eastern Europeans. The food is really important, and it's to be relished rather than takeaway food and, having your takeaway coffee on the run. People in Europe sit and they relax and they enjoy their coffee and they enjoy their meal. In France, they have a few hours for lunch. Everyone, even when they're working, everyone locks up shop and they sit at the table and have their lunch. I mean, I don't know exactly. The younger ones may not today, but certainly around my age and older, absolutely. They sit and they enjoy their food. So that is a big story in this, that food is very important and it plays a part of bringing people together and families and villages and things. So that's Anna's book. And then, of course, the wonderful Rebecca Shaw with her series. I recommend them. If you start with the new rector, I do recommend you start right at the beginning, because then you have the history of the whole village and it just makes it all the more special, and you get to know the characters, and it makes it all the more intriguing and just that little bit more special when you know their backgrounds. So I recommend those. Okay, thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video, or even, as I say, if you find them annoying or funny, whatever. It's very much appreciated if you like, share and subscribe, and comment. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'll take these off. Do have a good week. Happy reading, happy eating, and I will see you next video, either Saturday for the travel or Monday for the book recommendations. Okay, take care. Bye for now.